Yo, what's good? I'm D. Charles, and welcome to Food Fight. Food Fight is typically about two opponents going head to head to kind of test their skills. But today it's about me. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight of who D. Charles is. D. Charles is that person that likes to help everyone. Anywhere that I can step in is where I like to be in. My mother got me into cooking. And she would always say, David, take this out of the freezer. David, thaw this out. David, season this. Little did I know she was kind of prepping me to be able to fend for myself. She always told me, you don't ever have to need a woman. You can want one, but you won't have to need one. She said, I'll arm you with all of the tools to be able to, kind of be able to fend for myself or, be an asset. As opposed to not being an asset. Cooking always brings people together. Whether you're kind of sitting around, everyone likes good food. And it was just, something that I adapted to. In 92, my mother died of cancer. She died of cancer, but, at that point, it was definitely a void. It was definitely a miss. It's certain things that, I didn't feel as though that she armed me with that I wasn't able to still be able to get from her. But when I look back, and sometimes when I'm comparing certain things, I kind of think back in my mind, and she did arm me with all of those things. So it was just, one of those, one of those retro things that I looked at to kind of fall back on. I know she wasn't here, but she was. When I look at all of the people that, I've come across to try and, kind of provide some insight through cooking, whether it's cooking and conversation. I've helped out, abused kids. I've, fed the homeless. I've given gifts, during Christmas. These are all things that I love to do. Giving back is super, super important to me. The smiles, the appreciation, the things that you get from people when you're given unjust, they receive unjust. It's not something, the warming feeling that you get of appreciation is second to none. So these are some of the things that really, kind of make me happy. I think it's important to understand what you're on this earth for. And for the most part, I think it's about giving and cooking. I think that's why it's, so much of a passion. Cooking is not necessarily my, some people call it a hobby. I think of hobbies as something that you do when you have time. People eat every day. I cook every day. For me, the more the merrier. If it's cooking for one person, cooking for a family, or cooking for 100 people, I give the same energy. And giving that same energy to me is a passion. It's definitely not a hobby. Yo, that's a little bit about me. Right now, I'm a little hungry. And I want to give you guys a little bit of, one of my favorite meals. So we're going to go into the kitchen. We're going to get loose. We're going to, continue to have some conversation. You guys can ask questions and we'll just talk about it. But I'm going to take you through, how I get down. Let's go. All right, guys, what I'm kind of making today is one of my favorites. I love lamb chops. I make my lamb chops. I've been marinating these. They've been kind of sitting steady. What I marinate my lamb chops with is orange juice and cognac, preferably Hennessy. One of my favorite drinks, which is, I use Hennessy. It's Hennessy and Bailey's. I call it Henny by the Bay. So let's get started.
Tonight is the night we making food. Let's see what you gonna do. 45 minutes to get your groceries. Then go back home, it's time to compete. We'll see which couple is the truth. D. Charles gonna grade you. It's an act quick it clean but get it right. Let's see who's gonna win this food fight. This food fight.
Yo, what's good? We in the kitchen now, and I know we had Damon and Lizette, and they were making lamb chops, but I can make them better. So I make my lamb chops with Hennessy and orange juice, my own private seasoning. So we're gonna get loose on that. I'm also making a lobster mac and cheese and a sauteed asparagus. We got a bunch of questions coming in from the guests, my personal friends, and I want to answer some of those, while I'm cooking. I'm also gonna go over here and make my favorite drink, something I kind of personally made up. It's called Henny by the Bay. It's Hennessy and Bailey's on the rocks. Let's go. Give them a little shaky shake. And we in there. Cheers. All right, we all fired up. Give me a little olive oil, spray my little pan up. Getting nice and hot. Got my asparagus spears. Got to cut the heads off of the, or the bottoms off of the asparagus spears. They're a little bit tough. You don't want to, kind of chew on them. Definitely not that. Let's go. So one of the questions that we kind of got in, this one is from Casso and Sadie's. If you had your own culinary art school, what is something that you would teach that's not being taught today, taught now? One of the things that's not being taught, especially coming up, is being able to have that conversation. People who cook and being able to hold a conversation or being able to have that personality is a lost art. You can't just be able to cook. You got to it's cooking and conversation. That's what it's all about. That's one of the things. It's like chopping with Dapp. Yeah, you chopping with me, but you're also having conversation with me. Chopping it up, that was another question. What does chopping with Dapp mean? Chopping with Dapp is, I'm from the north, so chopping it up is conversation, but chopping it up is also this, what I just did. So Dapp is short for dapper. I get dressed to cook, so I'm always in what I'm in, but I'm huge on style. Style is important to me. A lot of times, when you look good, you feel good. When you dress good, you deliver.
Yeah, you do great things.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel like style helps your confidence, and
100%.
confidence helps you succeed.
That's why I get dressed to cook. 100%. You'll never ever see me not dressed to cook. Right now I'm gonna throw these the asparagus tips on the grill. We're gonna get loose with these. Grill's hot. Little Himalayan salt.
What made you want to show the world a competitive cooking show?
I wanted to show people can cook together and be in the same place. I also wanted it to be competitive. I wanted it to be fun. There's nothing that brings people together more than cooking. People crowd around the kitchen. I don't care how big a home is. Everyone congregates to the kitchen.
It's just the meat in place for everything.
Like I said, we also got the lamb chops. We ready to rock with these. These are already ready and on the griddle. As I stated, man, they seasoned, ready to go. Been marinating in the Hennessy and orange juice. A lot of people don't like the big game taste of lamb chops. And what the Hennessy and orange juice does, it gets rid of that. Add a little bit of that juice to cook with. One of the other questions that I just got, how did you get into cooking? You know, again, my mother, she kind of got me into cooking. She would always kind of tell me, hey, David, pull things out of the freezer. Hey, David, season this. Hey, David, next thing you know, she would always tell me that. Next thing I know, I was actually making a whole meal just by her telling me, you know, more or less what to do. It was pretty interesting. I was just always thinking that she was just trying to tell me what to do, which she was, but she was teaching me how to cook. It was very, very special. Very special. I was being taught how to cook and didn't even know I was cooking. So no, definitely a great thing. Another question that T-Bird asked me was, what did you learn from your greatest mistake? What did I learn from my greatest mistake? Never to follow anyone. That's what I learned from my greatest mistake. If you're following somebody, there's no way you can see what's in front of you. Plain and simple. A lot of people cut their lamb chops in ones. I cut mine in twos for, a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons why I like to cook the lamb chop all the way around and it stands up better. That's number one. Number two, I love plating. So it's easier for me to plate when I use two lamb chops. All right, getting ready to dress these lammies up. A little homemade chili sauce. Give it a little additional extra flavor. Oh yeah. We talking food fight, y'all. This is what it's all about. All right, guys, we got, let's see. Rob asks, how do you feel about men sharing the kitchen? And is it okay for men to cook? Sharing is caring. When you're able to share the kitchen with someone that you care about, someone you love, it's a great thing. You can make great magic together. As far as, is it okay for men to cook? Men have been cooking for years. You got so many chefs that are out there and they are in the kitchen. And not to say that women aren't, because they are in this area and they are killing it. From East Coast to West Coast, they are tearing it down. So, it's room enough for everyone. During this season of Food Fight, the women have been putting it down. And when I say down, they've been killing the men in the kitchen. That's why I'm here. I love the competition. I love the energy. I love the being able to share the kitchen. So great question, Rob. I appreciate you.
So I've known you a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we used to be over your house all the time, right?
Yes.
And not that you didn't cook,
But I just want to know when did this start? Like when did you grasp it? When did it become a passion?
I think it's always been a passion. You know what? To be quite honest, I was challenged.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was in a group text, and I sent a picture, you know, whatever, of shrimp and grits, and it was in the group chat. You know, a couple people said, "Oh, nice, this, that, and the other," but there was a side chat that said, "Oh, I can make that shit better," and it got back to me. It got back to me, and that's how Choppin' with Dapp got created. It was based off of a person thinking I could.
Basically, you were like, I even told Damon, I was like, yo, how many times we been to David's house? How many freaking times? I ain't see him cooking all the shit he be putting on the freaking Instagram.
Nah, that's 100%. And
we ain't get that.
It was a challenge, and I got Choppin' with Dapp up and running in 2 months. Why? Because I was dedicated to making sure a person knew that they couldn't challenge me. All right, another question from Shelly. Another one. What made you get into cooking? Always my mother. My mother had 5 sisters and 6 brothers. And a grandmother that, you know, my grandmother, that they came from a cooking family. And when that many kids, you always cooking. So, I mean, you either good at it or bad at it. You know, fortunately, you know, she taught me all of the good things. So, yeah, we have a huge cooking family. We have a family of cooks. You know, in another episode, you know, one of my cousins, she, you know, owned a restaurant. She's a fantastic cook. I got cousins, uncles, aunts. I mean, they are really serious in the cooking, and they are, you know, exceptional at it. So for them, I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue the tradition. I want to hand it down to mine. I want to be able to share that experience with, you know, any and everybody. You know, as I said before, I always like helping people. As far as what do you hope to accomplish with this Food Fight series endeavor? A cooking show. Ongoing cooking show. I got tons and tons of ideas, fresh ideas, material. This one here is one that's original. It's Food Fight Friday. You got head-to-head couples competing against each other. You making it fun. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of fun. Like I said, there is love in cooking, 100%, bar none. This question is from Manny. What's the impact you hope Food Fight Friday will give on your audience or even the competitors? As far as the competitors, it's collaboration. It's being able to have 2 people in the kitchen together at the same time, and although that they're competing, it's also collaboration. You're finding, you know, different recipes and how other people do things. And, you know, just because your recipe is not always the only recipe. There's more than one way to get to a, you know, ultimate goal, which is good food. You know what I mean? So you're able to learn from everyone. And that's kind of one of the things that I look to get from it. As far as the impact, you know, you hope Food Fight Friday will have on your audience, is just enjoying, being able to look at something that's fun, something that's refreshing, something that's new. If they can gain that from that, then I'm really appreciative. I'm humbled. You know, I thank the people who are watching, that's going to watch, that's going to support, that's going to pass it along. That is truly, you know, a lot of thank yous. This question comes from Damon. Do you pick up new spices in your travels through the world? He got a 2-part question. Do I pick up spices? Yes and no. One of the reasons why I pick up new spices, I like to increase my palate. I like to, understand some of the, different foods that are out there from different nationalities. But what I try and do is I kind of pick through the spices and see if I can create my own. So, I really, really like to, be original, but that's one of the things that I like to do. The second part to this question is, what origin of food do you like to cook the most? I love seafood. I love a great steak. I love Italian. So if I had a choice, it would probably be a combination of Italian and seafood, combining both of those. Because seafood is its own thing, and Italian is definitely its own thing. So combining those two is always great for me. D. Karsten asks, where is your faith and where is your peace? My faith is in God. I want to say the week before Christmas, I had one of the worst accidents I thought somebody could actually have. I had a tire blowout. I hit the wall. I did a 180, hit the wall again. I'm perpendicular going across the highway. As I pass one lane, a car passed. As I pass the second lane, a car passed. I get to the third lane, I see an 18-wheeler. The 18-wheeler was so close that I could see his hair. I could see the sweatshirt he was wearing. I saw all of that. And the car kept going and hit the wall again. Did another 180 and hit the wall. I want to say that gave me what I feel as though is a new lease. There's no way that I probably feel as though that I should have made it out of the accident. But I came out unscathed, no issues, nothing, not even a bump or a bruise. All of the airbags came out, tires blew out. It was incredible. So as far as faith, I know what I do is not about me. It's about someone else. And, I'm along for the ride. Sometimes I'm driving, but I know who the passenger is. So that's where my faith is. My peace is cooking. My peace is seeing the sunrise and seeing the sunset. Anything that allows me to give is my peace. Thanks, D, for the question. Yo, thank you for joining me in Food Fight, my episode. You see what I made? You see what I presented? Again, that's lobster mac and cheese, those huge asparagus spears, and that lamb chop. Ain't nothing like it. But yo, seriously, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to all of the episodes. I want you guys to stay locked. I got many, many, many more things coming. Next time, it could be you. Get in touch. Food Fight Friday. I'm on IG at Food Fight Friday. I'm at Choppin with Dapp. All of those things are on YouTube as well. Food Fight Friday. Tune in. I appreciate you.